Hey, I'm Britton Johnson, the NSX Roving reporter here at VMworld 2018. With me is my good friend Cody DeArkland. Cody, how are you?
Doing good. Enjoying the show.
It is an amazing show this year. You just got done doing your session. How did that go?
It was great. I did a session on teaching people how to use Python with REST APIs, and it went really well.
See, that's like how I met you, was teaching Python, and I still don't know how to do it all because I just don't have the time, but I learned at least how to install the basics of it from you, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you're at VMworld, so you can go learn how to use Python, right?
So we're talking about NSX a lot here. So in your cloud automation area that you're doing with stuff now, what is a way that NSX kind of helps feed into cloud automation?
So NSX is a huge part of what we're doing. So obviously what I'm here representing mostly is our cloud automation services. So specifically, that's a product called Cloud Assembly. It's a deployment platform for deploying multi-cloud machines, blueprints, so on and so forth. But when you think about something that's multi-cloud, load balancing is the first thing that comes to mind, and network. Obviously, you have to have network in order to have connectivity. So how we achieve on-premises interaction of a load balancer is through NSX. The only way you can get a load balancer in Cloud Assembly is by using NSX. The only way you can do on-demand networks, on-demand NAT networks, only way you can bring in security groups on-premises is by using NSX. So NSX is a huge part of what everything inside of the CMBU, Cloud Management Business Unit, is doing.
That's awesome. So I like to get kind of the full perspective on people's experience with NSX. So where did you first come across it, and what was your initial reaction of it as a product?
Yeah, so I came from the customer side. So I worked for a major utility, and we actually used NSX to do multi-site disaster recovery. So this was probably in the neighborhood of, I would say, 4 years ago, maybe 5. We used it between multiple data centers and used it to fail systems between sites. We also used a security policy in kind of a zone configuration, so prod, QA, dev, test, isolation between those zones, isolating SQL servers with their own dynamic security groups, or not just SQL servers, web servers, different types of platforms. Generally, if we had a large amount of machines deploying that matched a certain configuration, we'd create a security group around it, build automation to include that in the build. So NSX has been part of my life for quite a while.
But when you had did you have any really epiphany moments with it ever, where it was just like, ah?
So I'll share one. We tend to, a lot of NSX designs tend to be, the stretch network design, where we take a stretch network between multiple locations. But we had several processes, long story about why that wasn't possible. So we used NSX. We used NSX VXLAN networks set up at each location. We had a primary site and a secondary site, and the secondary site for disaster recovery workloads was disabled. And we used NSX and a configuration within the dynamic routing to move entire networks between data centers. And we had very quick reconvergence around those networks across our distant sites. Within sub 15-20 seconds, we'd have an entire network moved to our secondary data center, up and running. It's an incredible product.
That is amazing. It's the NSX as a product is the one. It's just one of these things that it continues to just blow me away. So I'm on a path of learning more about this stuff, and I want to learn more about coding and Python and injecting stuff with it, injecting NSX with Python and doing those kind of fun stuff with it. Is there a good resource to start playing with coding components of NSX?
Yes, there's a couple places. Obviously, being Python, I'm a huge fan of the REST APIs. NSX has a deep REST API, especially NSXT. So NSX VNT both have these REST APIs available. I would recommend getting on VMware Code, digging into the API Explorer. It's really easy to get started with. If you don't want to use something like Python, PowerNSX was created by some of the NSX engineers. PowerNSX is a huge part of why I came to VMware. I met the guys who wrote it. I was like, man, if these guys can do this kind of stuff and work at this company, I got to be there too. That was Anthony Burke and Nick Bradford. So if you're not in the Python space, I feel bad for you, and I want to fix that. But if you want really a PowerShell person, big fan of PowerShell, jump into PowerNSX. It's the same APIs, and you're able to do things like new NSX security group, new NSX network. It's very easy to get started.
That's awesome. Cody, thank you very much. I think that'll do it for now. We'll see you at VMworld 2018.